Greg, we're doing the sport leading up to this game. You must be looking forward to it, particularly yourself coming up against some of your people you know so well in France.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're a strong French team. We're excited with getting here now and getting the team run done. Always feels obviously that exciting stage now when you're ready to go. So we've prepared well all week, and it's now up to us to go and execute our plan.
You live in France, you know all these players very well. What sort of state do you think the French team is in? There's been a lot written about it, but do you think it's been over the top?
I think they're a very dangerous team. I think they'll probably be hurting from some of the things going around in the media, so we're expecting them to come out all guns blazing, which I know they will. I know certainly the Clermont boys, the mentality, and they're very good rugby players, and if they're allowed time and space, they're very dangerous.
The other side of the same coin, how easy has it been to adapt to slightly different personnel in your own team with the likes of Finn and Hugh and Hoggy and people like that dropping out?
Yeah, to be fair to the boys coming in, they've all fitted in excellent and really put their own stamp on the team in essence, because it's never good getting players injured, but that's the way it is within the sport, and boys have to step up and adapt, and we're ready to go. As I said, we have trained well, take confidence from that, and we're looking forward to the game.
How much work have you had to put in to get that sort of relationship built with Pete alongside you?
Not too much, because Pete's been in the squad the whole time. He's played 10 for a long time at Glasgow. He's played 12. He's been in the squad for a long time. So he's ready to go. He's full of confidence after playing really well for Glasgow last week. So it's important. I'll help him out tomorrow as well. It's good that Sam Johnson's and Nick Greig are outside him as well.
Do you sense it'll be a different sort of approach taken because of to make most of Pete's strengths as opposed to the way you'd normally play with Finn alongside you?
Well, probably slightly, yeah. It's, you've got to play to your strengths within the team, and Pete brings different attributes to Finn, but some are the same as well. So we won't be deviating too much from our game plan and looking to play the way we want to play. If
you had to spend a bit of time with the likes of Blair and make sure that in terms of his mindset, nerves and all that sort of thing, that he's ready for this, he's not too nervous ahead of his big chance in places like this.
I don't think he's going to be nervous. I think he's played exceptionally well when he's had opportunity, and the second game came off the bench, played exceptionally well. So Blair's ready to go. He's been playing really well for Edinburgh. He's a young guy. He's just got to get out there and do what he does.
How big would it be to come here and win? We know the length of time between Scotland wins in Paris, but given all the injury troubles that have kind of mounted up this week as well, I mean, how big would it be to come here and get a victory?
Oh, any time if you come here and get a victory, it would be massive. But we're focused on our performance at the minute, and we believe if we can deliver a performance, it puts us in position to win the game. And the boys that are injured, that's not something we've talked about all week. That's the way it is. The team's been selected. Everybody's excited to pull on these jerseys and deliver a performance tomorrow.
What about the young halfbacks that they're fielding? You'll know them a bit better than most of us in the Scottish media. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, well, they're both excellent rugby players, young, so I think it's Antimac's first start at 10 for France. And, Dupont has been in excellent form in the top 14 for Toulouse, so the fact that they play together for Toulouse will help them. They'll take confidence from that. Both excellent rugby players and dangerous as well, so we'll need to defend very smartly tomorrow.
Are you a bit surprised or disappointed not to come up against your club mates at 9 and 10?
Yeah, well, that's out with my control. That's their selection, so I can't control that. We're just simply concentrate on what's going on within our camp, and we feel ready to play, and we're excited about tomorrow.
Have you spoken to any of your Clermont teammates during the week about this game?
I spoke to a few of them last week. I was back in Clermont to play, so all the French guys were back down then, so spoke to a few of them then, but yeah, not too much this week, as you can imagine.
What do you make of the atmosphere around French rugby? You were in France last week, you won, but then the national team, different sort of atmosphere, is it?
Oh, again, I can't comment on the national team because I know nothing about it. I'm just all I know about is down in Clermont, and our culture's down there, and we've got a strong culture down there. So, I can't comment on that. That's nothing to do with me. I know nothing of it, and again, it just always comes back to me and being Scotland captain and a Scotland player.
Sorry, we are from Japan, and we like to know your impression from Japanese rugby team. How do you think? How do you find?
I think the Japanese team is always improving. We've played against them a few times over the last couple of years, and we've got them in the World Cup. But we've got quite a big game tomorrow, so we'll worry about that one first, and then. But Japan are ever improving, yes.
Do you have some name, Japanese players' name that you?
You put me on the spot here. Come back to me later.
Greg, il y a beaucoup de blessés dans l'équipe d'Écosse. Est-ce que vous êtes quand même confiant pour ce match? Est-ce que vous avez des
Oui, le mec en remplacement, l'autre mec avec les blessures, c'est comme Pete Horn ou Nick Greig ont bien joué aussi. Donc je pense que c'est OK pour demain.
Vous allez être affronté à deux jeunes joueurs, Dupont et Ntamak, qui remplacent Parra et Lopez. Qu'est-ce que vous savez de ces joueurs et qu'est-ce qui vous inspire?
Oui, give me that in English.
Dupont and Ntamak replace Parra and Lopez. What do you think about these two young players?
Yeah, I think they're both excellent players. As I said before, both play for Toulouse, which I think will help them tomorrow, and a few other Toulouse players in their back line, but both very exciting and dangerous rugby players.
Greg, you've had a few painful experiences on the road with this Scotland team, but do you feel that they've now brought you to the point that you're ready to go and knock off one of the Six Nations big guns in their own backyard?
Yeah, well, that's what we've talked about all week. We're disappointed to lose at home the last time out, and so I think it's really important how we bounce back from that. And the proof's in the pudding, so we'll find out tomorrow afternoon, and that's what we're all focusing on.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg.
Greg, just talk the top table, we'll do the tempo.
Mr. Music?
Ready when you are.
Good business?
Yeah.
Right, boys?
Yeah,
Mike, a beautiful day in Paris. The boys have been chucking the ball about. How's the mood amongst them?
It's really good. Great to come to a bit of sun and a bit of heat. The conditions we imagine are going to be similar tomorrow. Having a look at the weather, it's good for us and it's good for the French as well. So it should be a good game.
What are your memories of playing here?
I played in a difficult time for the Scotland team, but amazing stadium. The noise, the national anthems, incredible noise. But also we know that. If we were to play well, we'll silence that crowd. But if they get their tails up, then the crowd are going to become part of the game.
How are the boys reflected on the opening 2 weeks, and how are they feeling about this game? Because obviously your championship is riding on it. There's no getting away from it. But does that almost focus the mind a little bit? There's no margin for error now.
We tend not. The players certainly tend not to look at the big picture too much. So coming to Paris. Incredible stadium. We've played some good stuff over the first 2 games, but there's been some inconsistencies in there as well. So it's a big opportunity for us to put 80 minutes together, and the guys are desperate to get going.
What's your read into France's form so far? 2 defeats, and there's a lot of talk around them. They're being in a bit of a crisis. Can that be exploited, or does it make them possibly even more dangerous on their home turf?
Yeah, I think let's remember that 3 weeks ago they were 16-0 up against a very good Welsh team at home. They've got some quality players and some young players with real flair coming in. So we've got to be really wary of them. We've got to put a lot of pressure on them and be aware of what they can do if they've got time on the ball.
What do you make of them fielding the 2 young halfbacks together in this one?
They're great players, aren't they? Dupont's got a little bit more experience than Ntamak. Dupont's obviously done really well off the bench, and Ntamak, he's played a bit of 10 at this year, but a bit of 12 as well. So really dangerous players if we give them time, but hopefully we'll be able to shut them down and put some pressure on them.
Does their inexperience, is that something that can be exploited in Scotland's game plan?
And potentially, but also they're young and free. They'll be coming into the game with plenty of confidence. I don't think when you're young you overthink things too much. You just get on with it and enjoy the atmosphere. So as we do against all teams, putting pressure on 9 and 10 is an important part of the game. So we'll be looking to do that.
Given all the pressures and everything else, how important is that opening 20 minutes?
Really important. First 20 minutes in international games set the tone. for the game. So coming out there, imposing our game on the French, quietening the crowds, as I said before, really important.
Much excitement you sent from the likes of Blair and the other guys that are sort of getting their chance with the injuries?
They're really keen. You see them running out onto the pitch. They're absolutely bouncing, ready to get going, ready to stamp their authority in the game. So they're really looking forward to it.
You don't sense nerves being an issue for these guys. Get that, they're getting the big opportunities taken over for guys that are key members of the team.
I don't think so. I think they're guys who've done well for us in the past. I mean, Blair had an outstanding start to the championship. Pete's been in very good form for Glasgow at 10. Nick Greig the same. So lots of confidence with those guys coming in.
Okay, last. Any more questions for broadcast?
Is it possible one question in French or
Sure. Peut-être.
En français?
Ça dépend.
Ça dépend.
C'est quelle question?
Comment se sent l'équipe d'Écosse malgré les blessés, les absents?
C'est difficile parce que les joueurs sont très importants pour nous, mais les joueurs qui viennent sont très beaux joueurs aussi. Ils sont jeunes, mais ils sont confiants.
Merci.